Bismillah. Okay. So, question number 1, we have all done that, right? We wrote our mandate and elective roles. Okay. Now let's talk to Ms. Priya. Ms. Priya, what could be other definitions of balancing of roles? Hold on.
Okay, so sir, I have written the other definition as per system B. Okay, so it's like as per system B, all the roles or duties leading to self success, that is earning material wealth, must be fulfilled.
MashaAllah. We have to give you a. Can you repeat that for the benefit of all of us?
As per system B, all the roles or duties leading to self success, that is earning material wealth, must be fulfilled.
So in system B, the full focus would be how to have a combination of roles that maximizes your opportunity to gain material wealth, because that is the definition of success in system B, right? Okay. Now let's talk to Suleman Saab. Yes. So Suleman Saab, what other definitions of balance could be there?
So according to system A definition, performing at an optimum level as defined by our ideology, such that the roles and obligations you have for the others are met.
Yeah, meaning that you should not be below the MPL in any one of your roles.
Yeah.
That's system A.
That-
Now,
then-
what could be other definitions other than that? Do you think everybody in this world follows that definition?
No,
Okay.
because
So
most of
what are the other definitions that other systems may have?
system B, in that case, roles are derived from the vision you set for your life, which encompasses what you want to achieve, ignoring your duties and roles towards the society.
Okay. But there are other systems also, right? You're talking about system A, system B. There could be a system C, system D. They could have different definitions,
Different
right?
definitions.
Okay. Please give 2 examples each of extremes in the balancing of roles. So, taking MPL from the society instead of Islam. Give me an example.
For example, during wedding ceremonies
Wedding ceremonies,
and during funerals.
funerals. Give us an example. What would happen in a funeral?
For
Can you
example,
please? Yeah.
during,
Bring it- yeah.
during funeral, what happens in tell you. Let me tell you the example of Punjab. So all of the family gathers. There is after janaza, there is dinner. Dinner is served to the guests. So I think it is not necessary during if someone is. You have to go there and offer prayer, offer Fatiha. But instead of you are going over there, there is just like a gathering. Just seems to be that all of the family, friends are just gather over there just for dinner. So I think that shouldn't be.
Instead of actually helping the bereaved family,
Yep.
you're actually putting a whole huge burden on this poor family, right?
Yep.
And expecting and demanding that you should be fed. Okay, good. So Maham, can you give us an example of taking MPL from the society?
The weddings, I had the same because
Okay,
we
wedding.
discussed it, the weddings. So, people tend to spend more, and that's a society construct that's not in Islam that you should do it.
Okay. Any other examples that we can take from the society? How about, any other example that you may have?
I will give it a shot. I'm not too sure if it's
Yeah, sure.
gonna fall
Can you
in.
bring it closer to your mouth, please? Yeah.
I think I have personally seen people. They actually took loan. Actually went to the Hajj. So that's kind of a thing that I think it's not mandatory if you cannot afford it. But if you're taking loans and performing Hajj, then I think you are taking an MPL from society and not from Islam.
Yeah. This is because everybody is doing Hajj, so you feel obligated to Hajj, and that's not the case, yeah? Good example. Okay. MashaAllah, 500 is coming. Here you go.
Yeah, so the amount of finances that you require to, earn that sort of respect in the society, that's the MPL that we've taken from the society and not from Islam. And that's how we, give respect to others. We judge them by their financial statuses rather than what, they actually
Exactly.
are or what they do. So that's the MPL that we've taken from the society and
Yeah,
not from
that's
the
an example
religion.
we have taken from society. Yes, that's a very good example. How about the MPL that we have to eat 3 meals a day? Isn't that from the society? Yeah. That we have to have 3 meals a day. Even though that we may not be hungry and we may not require food, but we are going to eat.
Anything less is poverty.
Anything less is poverty or not acceptable. Surur,
Yes, sir. So
any example?
of living standard?
Living standards.
Yes, people usually purchase car such as BMW to show off.
Mm.
They could have easily purchased a car that's normal. Similarly, marriages ceremony. That's it.
Mm. Yeah, buying a vehicle just because to show off that we have money or wealth and stuff. Okay. So when we do such type of stuff, what happens? We suffer, right? So there's a cost attached to that. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. A professor came to our training, and he then walked up to me and said, I don't know if I told you the story before. He said that, I've lost one of my sons. Did I tell you the story? No. Okay. So he had, huh?
I think you did. The one where he takes the wrong name of
No. There's another one. Okay. So he had one son who was 17 and the other was 15 at that time. So he told me that I've lost my son. And he's about to go to the US. No. No. Okay. Okay, even if I have, let's have a repetition. So his sons actually were US citizens. He said, I've lost my son and he's bent to go, to the US. So let me see what I can do with my second son. And he said, I realized after taking a workshop that leaving behind assets for my children is not an MPL in System A. It's not an MPL. And what he did is, not with that pressure off his shoulders of trying to earn money, that, his desire to earn money, thinking that's an MPL, with that pressure off his back, he rescheduled his life. And he dedicated 1 hour after Fajr for his sons, his 2 sons. Every day, 1 hour. So what he would do is, a day would come that he'll take them to, say, Dunkin' Donuts, they'll have breakfast, sometimes he'll take them to the park, sometimes he'll just sit with them, sometimes he'll read poetry with them, discuss, And he did that for 1 full year. And just within under 1 year, both of his boys made a full U-turn. And mashallah, they're doing so well now. Both of them. So sometimes having these crazy notions of MPLs, they're hurting us because they are disturbing the whole balance. You follow what I'm trying to say? There's one example of if you're level-headed and we really find out what MPLs are. So if I find out that, I'll give you an example. I have a friend, he's a serving brigadier in the army. and he is on deputation on a very senior position. He is the Director General of ERA, Earthquake Reconstruction and Rehabilitation Authority. Last week, his son got married. So, a serving brigadier can afford a lot of money. The other family is also an army family, but they decided that we are going to do it the right way. There was no nikah function at all. So what they did is, I spoke to him this morning, and he said, okay, this is what we'll do. You bring the girl over, and so the family, just the family, nobody else other than that, just the family drove over to their house with the bride. They left the bride in this house. The men, all of them, got in a car, went to the masjid, and the nikah was performed in the masjid. They came back. There was a simple dinner, this family and that family. The dinner was served, they had the dinner, and the parents of the bride went back home, and end of the story. He said, we made a decision that this marriage will not disrupt anybody's schedule. End of the story. Okay, now, walima. Walima, there was a masjid close by where they have a madrasa for the children. So, the basement of the masjid, they had the walima. How was the walima? After Zohar, you come for Zohar prayers, offer the prayer, and then you go to the basement, and who's serving the food? The children of the madrasa, they're serving. There's only one dish. You sit down, you have a little bit of food, and you leave. Another story. Friday, the nikah happened. No, Saturday, the nikah happened. Sorry, Friday, the nikah happened. And Saturday, the walima happened. Khalas. So they go for Dhuhr, the walima takes place, they come back, over. Khalas. Marriage is done. And he said, you have to come, Suleman, you have to. So I could not go. So what I did, I said, how many people can I bring on my behalf? So I called like around 10, 12 people that I knew in Islamabad. I said, please, can you go to Brigadier Fayaz's son's walima on my behalf? Oh yeah, sure. 7, 8 people just showed up, and they had some food and they left. Alas. Now how much money does that entail? The only cost they had was that food, but one dish that was cooked in the madrasa, served by the madrasa kids, for the people who had come, and khalas, it's over. Maybe, I don't know, 10,000 rupees? 10,000 rupees, maybe to 8,000 to 12,000. Okay, let's be safer. 15,000. Maybe there were like 200 guests or 250 guests. Khalas, it's over. How beautiful. If we bring such simplicity in this country, hundreds and thousands of our girls who are not able to get married because of these all crazy stuff will get married. And save that money and give it to the poor. Use it for something else. You're wasting money. I went to Gujarat, okay? I stayed in this hotel. It's called Kinara. Is there anybody from Gujarat? You know Kinara Hotel? It's a very nice hotel. And I went to jog in the morning. On my way back, I see this huge limousine. Honest to God, I haven't seen such a long limousine in the US in my life. Huge. And I went closer and I said, really? Is it really a Rolls Royce? I went close. It's a Rolls Royce limousine. How expensive that vehicle is, man. So I asked those guys, how much does it cost? They said 80,000 rupees to 100,000 rupees per evening. Now 100,000 rupees in the evening just to rent a car. Forget about food and renting the expensive place and the jewelry and the clothes. What a waste, yeah. Just because we want to show off that we rented the limousine. At one end of this country, people are dying because of malnutrition. You know, people have to pick up food from the garbage to eat. And on this side, money is just being wasted. It's criminal. Yeah? Okay. Going below MPL but still calling it a sacrifice. Give me examples of that. Haan Janab, SM Hamza Sahab.
Having a lifestyle where you're not you don't have time for yourself and your health is deteriorating.
We are, I'm sacrificing for my kids. What are you sacrificing? Your health. And once you have a heart attack, who suffers the most? The kids. Or maybe sacrificing my personal development. So after a few years, I become redundant, I become irrelevant. But I didn't have time to invest on myself. Such sacrifices, right?
The time and effort put in earning livelihood and not giving enough time to your family and calling that a sacrifice.
Calling that a sacrifice. Not giving time to your parents and calling that a sacrifice. Okay, Hassan, can you give me an example?
Role of a mother, ignoring other MPLs to take care of her children and calling it a sacrifice.
And calling it a sacrifice. Yeah, because you have been spending so much time. That is why some of the experts are saying that in this era we are doing over-parenting. We have made it such a big fuss of taking care of the kids. Calm down, man, calm down. Good, okay. Let's go now. In which one of your roles do you think you are below the MPL? So if there are any roles which you feel are, if the answer, if you feel is confidential, then you have the liberty of not answering. But if you would like to answer, it will be instructive for all of us, right? Yes. Daniel, which role do you think you are below the MPL? Daniel?
Sir, being a Muslim, I think.
Okay. Anything else?
And being a son.
Being a son, okay.
The lowest MPL I think is of being a good Muslim and obviously a son.
A son, oh, okay. Good for your parents, man.
Well, I think I am also low towards being a good Muslim. Yep.
Okay. Suleman Sahab.
So being a Muslim.
Okay.
And as a son as well.
As a son as well.
Yeah.
I have the same answer, being a Muslim and a daughter.
Oh, daughter, okay. That is good for your parents, huh? So, if we have, every change starts with what? Realization. So, I teach swimming classes, right? So, today was a good day because one of my students, after a few days, I took him to the deep. Let's go. He said, are you sure? I said, I'm sure. Let's go. So I said, now, swim. So he swam. I said, okay, turn around, go, let's go. And he stopped in the middle. So I thought maybe he is having difficulty breathing. I said, what happened? No stamina. Doesn't have the stamina. The guy is only 29, 30 years of age. You are 30. Where is your stamina? I'm 20 years older than you are, man. What's going on? Because they have not ignored their health. You see that? So he's below MPL in his role of. And then I had how many students I had this morning? I had maybe 8 or 9 of them. I said, okay, get out. All of you, come out. They came out of the water. I said, push-ups. I want 15. Can you believe? 3, 4. If you are doing 4 push-ups, it means extremely ill health. So in health, we are below our MPLs. So these most of them are young people. What's going on, you know? And I told them, I said, listen, now I'm going to take you up to like 20. So one of them I said, you all know that I'm a swimming instructor, right? Yes. Okay. So I'm looking at the way he's moving his legs, he's just doing like this, you know? Like that. I say, increase the amplitude. He's not able to do this. For the last 2-3 lessons, I'm trying to get this guy. I said, what's your problem? I said, get out. Come out of the water. I said, okay, now, do like this. You know? So that's where I found the secret of this issue. Because he's not able to do this. He has never stretched his feet. He can't do this. I said, now, for 10 to 15 minutes, you keep doing this. You just stretch. And I said, I'm going to be starting martial arts soon. So what's going to happen to you? Because I'm going to make you sit like that. Then what's going to happen to you guys? So now 2 of these guys are just. So what I'm seeing is an extreme level of being unfit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm getting a very good insight into how people are managing their health. But I'm so happy that you guys are so fit, but now look at Hamza. 20 push-ups like that.
I would like you to go ahead and demonstrate that.
Yes, Hamza, aajo yaar. Whatever you can do. Koi baat nahi, Hamza, aajo yaar. Hamza, aajo.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. अच्छा तुम तो आओ ना इधर आओ तानिया ले आओ nobody is going nothing no आ जाओ तानिया आ जाओ यार because this is for our see come on we are a family this is for our own learning and inspiration हाँ हसन आ जाओ तुम हसन आओ come on Hassan let's see I'll tell you come No, Hassan, don't worry, everybody will have to do it. It's part of the course. Aaye. Aajo, Hassan. You don't have slippers already. Yeah, come here. But it has to be done properly, huh? Straight. Go ahead. Bismillah. Okay, 20, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. MashaAllah, very good. Chalo, Surur, let's go. Surur. No, come on, Surur, come on. Come on, Surur, come on, you can do it, yeah? It's all here in your head, Surur. Come on, yeah? You're a young man. Yeah. You just turn young. Okay. You have to do it straight. Yeah. 1, yes. Let's go. 2. You have to go down. Go down. Come on, Surur. Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. That's it. Okay. Are you you're connected with me on Facebook? Yeah, you should come and join my class. Chalo, aajo bhai, Umar. Aaja yaar. Aaja.
How much I can do?
But aajo Salman, aajo. Salman can do 30 probably. Chalo. Umar bechara, Umar. 1, 2, mashallah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 2 more to go. Yes, and you can do it. Yes, yes, and yes, mashallah. Aaja Zishan.
सबको बुलाया सर हम पहले आपकी क्लास ले रखा है उसके बाद
है
वो उसकी इंफेक्शन वगैरह की क्लास उसके बाद
try करेंगे. Okay. Yeah, so where were we?
Okay, so I think being a Hindu and also myself, I tend to ignore
Myself also,
yes,
yeah? So do you go to your temple regularly?
Not regularly.
Okay, so you have to go,
Yes.
right? Mm. You know, I have a lot of Hindu students, right? I was told by this guy, Bajaj, that we have to get up very early for some worship in the morning, right? Every day. It's around like 4 a.m., right?
No, not 4 a.m.
What time is it?
I think it's basically there's a an interval. Even you can do it at any time in that.
Okay.
So like we get my mom does it for us. So she gets up at 8 and then she does it.
Oh, mashallah. Okay. You'll be getting up early. Good. Chale.
The same thing, being a Muslim and a son, so that's
A son. Okay. How about a neighbor?
Yes, a neighbor is also one. Actually, I already said that leading a lifestyle that you're not have time for yourself and your health is deteriorating.
So what are the 2 rules that you feel that you are below the MPL?
Oh, so yeah, 2 rules. Obviously, I've had this belief that I am a good Muslim, but I'm unfortunately not that a good guy and son. Also,
How about a husband?
I'm not married yet.
Oh, you're not married yet. Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, so a Muslim, a son, a brother, self,
Allahu Akbar.
and neighbor.
And neighbor. Wow, there are a lot of rules.
It could be like with neighbor, working too much and sacrificing others, MPLs, and your role as a Muslim neighbor, as a brother, son.
Oh.
Huge list.
There's a long list. So we have to work on these things, right? Surur.
Yes, sir.
Self.
Muslim, son, health, and neighbor.
Oh.
As a Muslim, for my health, as a husband.
You're married, huh?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, okay. Okay. If you had to, which elective role would you drop first? It is an elective role, but if you want to drop your neighbor, then you have to either move from the locality or go to another locality, right? Okay. The discussion that we're going to start now is very critical discussion, and it's going to actually put everything together. Today is the last class, right? System A and System B. There's a difference in how the vision framework operates. So System B, they say that the vision comes first, then the roles. Okay? Which means that you have to have a clear vision, and then all of the roles that support that vision should be your selection of the roles. And Kavi has even written this in his book. This. Now, when you look at it from the surface, it appears to make sense. But there is a very insidious, very latent and hidden issue with this. Yeah. For example, suppose in system B, so you could have many people living in Pakistan and they could be operating out of system B, right? Suppose in system B, the guy wants to build a hospital. In the role of, say, the citizen. So he's building the hospital, and the society, community is cheering him. Wow, great job, great work. And suddenly his father falls ill. Now the moment his father falls ill, so now the role of a citizen comes into conflict with the role of a son now. Because if he gives time to his ailing father, that takes away his time from the hospital. Now he is being applauded and appreciated for this role. He's not being applauded and appreciated for this role, right? So there's a conflict. And suddenly the father is a burden now. So what happens is, in a system you have frameworks for everything. So system B has a framework for this situation also. And what is the solution to this conflict? Old homes. That you take your parents and put them in old homes. Old age homes. A few years ago, I found out that one of my relatives is very ill and he's been admitted to the hospital. So I called his son. And I said, what happened? And he said, well, he's in the hospital. And I said, may Allah give him health. And immediately he responded, ye mat kahiye. And I was thinking, subhanallah, here is this father who, and I know this family, the father was a middle, he was actually not very financially well off, and he gave his life for his kids. He almost killed himself to provide for his kids, and today, when he's in the hospital, the son is saying, don't say that. Just imagine if the father were to hear that sentence. I think he would have died just then because of heartbreak. And I said to myself, subhanallah, wow, phenomenal infiltration of system B. This old man in system A at this time is a gold mine. If you can take care of their father in the hospital, and if you can take care of this person and you can serve him, it's a gold mine. You'll be rewarded in this life and the hereafter, right? But for him, it's a burden. Whatever framework we have, that is the result that framework is going to give us. Another story a few years ago, another relative of ours gave his life for his kids, 4 children. So one girl became a doctor, moved to the US, very well established, mashallah, rich, successful. One son became an engineer, went to the US, did his master's, very well established. One son went into the army. And one daughter actually got married to a physician, very well established, very rich family. So the father was admitted at the Shifa International Hospital. So I went to visit him. So I was walking in the corridor, and they had no clue that I'm walking in. So 3 of the kids were outside. These successful children were outside talking. So as I approached, you know what the argument was going? What they were arguing about? I will not take him home now. It's your turn. You take him. I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And my fuse went off. And you know what I felt like doing? I felt like going up to them and saying, all of you get lost, get out of here. And I'll take this old man and take him home. I really felt like saying that. But then I said, well, how am I going to even manage this? I already have my parents and my in-laws, you know. And then the issues of parda, you know, and all of that. How am I going to manage? I mean, my wife will not be able to take care of this old person, but they're not related. It's happening here. Another situation, I went to visit these relatives of mine. So there's this old man with his wife, who lives with him, his wife, his daughter, his grown-up granddaughter, 3 ladies in that house living with this person. And I said, you know, how's everything? And you know, he broke down and he wept. He said, they don't take care of me. They don't even cook the food I want. So I just have this bread and he started to, you know, cry. And these ladies were there. My fuse went off. And I told them, I said, listen, all 3 of you, you know what you are doing? I said, you are risking your life here and you are risking your hereafter. As you are not going to get anywhere. You're going to get all destroyed. And I told them, I said, listen, I'm warning you that if you don't behave, I'm going to come in like 2-3 weeks. And if this person complains to me, I will take him to my house. So I gave that threat. So my teachers have taught me, never give a threat to anybody. But if you threaten someone, you have to honor it. So I came back to my wife and I told her, I said, listen, I've made a threat. So now you have to help. She said, okay. So we'll set up one room in our house and we'll hire a person who can take care of him. He has to be taken to the bathroom and stuff. So we actually were ready to do that. But alhamdulillah, they started to behave and things became a little better. Another situation, I'm telling you the true stories from Pakistan. Huh? Do you realize how important this material is? If our education means that our parents are going to end up in a state like this, it's better for us to be uneducated and illiterate. We are better off burning these books. If the result is this, what's the point of education then? You want to make money? Yeah, making money could be with 10 different ways. So another story. This old man, I went to this place, I said, what's going on? Why is this person sleeping alone? You have daughters and you have your wife, and because there's this bag with urine, and sometimes the urine will kind of spill over and it'll spoil our clothes. I said, really? That's why. I said to that guy's wife, I said, that's why you don't want to sleep in this room? And sleeping outside, leaving this guy all alone? So if he wants water, who is he going to call? I said, what sort of a wife are you? I said, this was the opportunity for you to serve your husband. And I know this guy gave his life for his family. He was working in Saudi Arabia, away from home, away from his comfort. The family is here, he's earning, sending money. That guy gave his life, and this is what he gets in return. I said, shame on you guys. The daughters don't want to sleep with him, the wife doesn't want to sleep with him, and they have all of these lame excuses. So I said, okay. So being an engineer, I said, why is this urine spilling over? Because the bag, actually, they will put it on the floor. I said, why don't you hang it? Huh, okay. You know, when it comes to our own issues, we have all of these creative solutions. I said, okay, I'll take care of this. I got this Imran. I said, Imran, go. And I made a drawing. I said, get something like this. He went, he got a stand, went to a welder, welded, you know, a hook, brought that and hung that there. Now the urine doesn't spill. And lo and behold, you know what? What I find now? It's just they will leave him alone. So it means that was the excuse. This is what's happening under. These are the stories that I'm telling you from my own experience. System B's infiltration, right? That's thinking. And in the US, there are people who do not subscribe to System B in the Midwest, if you go in the Midwest, right? Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Mississippi, Kansas. You will find Americans taking better care of their parents than many people in Pakistan. They will not let them go to the old home. No. It's not about where you're staying. That doesn't matter. It's not about what religion I have. Doesn't matter. It's what is operating out of here. So I had this Indian lady in a training this weekend, right? So she came up to me and she had some questions. Okay, what do you recommend about better relations between Pakistan and India? And I told her, I said, is it not true? I said to this lady, that you are from India. Is it not true that majority of the people in India, majority of the Hindus in India are extremely nice people? She said, yes, true. She's a Muslim. I said, is it not true? She said, yes, true. It's not, see, the majority people are okay. It's the minority that is the problem, right? You put them in old homes. So I had a friend, his name was Ahmed Abdullah. He was from Egypt. And so he retired and he went to Florida. He went to a retirement home in Florida. So he had this very nice place and stuff. And once he said to me, Suleman, you Pakistanis are very clever. I said, why? He said, there's one Pakistani physician. What he does is that he would take these old age homes which are not functioning and he'll manage them well and he'll buy them for peanuts. He'll manage them well and then he'll sell them for millions. So he's making a lot of money. I said, really? So I was in that foundation and we were raising funds and collecting donations. I said to myself, okay, this doctor is making millions. Where is my share? What about Bosnia and Chechnya, all of that, right? So before I could have said it, he said, would you like to meet with him? I said, sure. He said, okay, let's go tomorrow. The next day, we drive to this place. Port Charlotte, my God. Florida has one of the most beautiful towns in the US. And they have created this whole place for these rich people who will retire and come and live in this beautiful weather. No snow, nothing. Yeah? So, Charlotte, yeah? There you go. Port Charlotte. So we drove the next day. We arrived in Port Charlotte, beautiful town. We approached this old age home. It was beautiful, beautiful, landscaping, white building. We walk in, and we find that the owner is a Pakistani physician from King Edward's Medical College. We sat and we, got introduced to each other. And then he said to me, Mr. Suleman, would you like to take a round? Have you ever visited an old age home before? I said, no. He said, would you like to take a round? I said, sure. So he asked one of his attendants, okay, can you take this person around? So this, white guy, he's taking me around. And every step that I'm taking in that building, I'm feeling depressed. In my whole life, I had never seen so many old people in one place ever before. And actually, it's like a hospital, right? So you have 4 to 6 people in a room. And Florida has this very pleasant weather, so you don't have small windows, you have big open windows, you know, open airy areas, just like Malaysia if you go to Malaysia, right? And I'm looking inside and I'm seeing, you know, somebody is being administered a drip, somebody is on a wheelchair, somebody is being helped out of the bed, and these nurses are running around. My God. And then I see this lady, very old, maybe 85, and she's putting on makeup, you know. And now, you know, curiosity. We Pakistanis are curious people. I said to myself, why in the world is she putting on makeup? She's so old. And then I said to myself, who are you to even ask that? I mean, she's a lady. If she wants to put her makeup, let her put her makeup. What's your problem, Suleman? You know, I actually had this internal dialogue in which I actually scolded myself and, you know, walked out of this crazy thought. I mean, this is whatever she wants to do. It's not none of my business. We went. Now when we were coming back, lo and behold, I took a look again, and she's still doing makeup. Now the second question, why so much makeup? Now I couldn't really resist myself. You know, I mean, this internal dialogue had its limit. So I said to this guy, can I ask you a question? He said, go ahead. I said, can you tell me why this lady is putting on so much makeup? Okay, if she were young, it makes sense. So being a security officer, I have a lot of information. Would you believe that women, these girls in the university, they'll take 2 hours before Fajr, Tahajjud time, to get ready? Mom, can you believe that? You can? Oh my God. 2 hours, man, 2 hours. They're getting ready and putting on makeup, and they do it so well that when they walk out, you will swear to God that this woman, girl, whatever, has no makeup. These are natural beauty. They do it so well. You know? Wow. Excellence driven nation, man. So if this lady were to be young, it makes sense. But this old lady, so I said, why so much makeup? He said, oh, I'll tell you why. You know, tonight, her son is actually flying into Tampa. So Tampa has an airport, and he's going to rent a car, drive over to meet his mother. And he will take her to a restaurant, they'll have dinner together. Then he'll drop her back, drive back to Tampa, and take the late flight out, only to return the next year. Since the son comes once a year, she's getting ready for her son. I'm telling you, it was such a heavy dose that if I were a woman or had a little softer heart, I would have wept. And that was the day I decided I will leave this country. I will not make this country my home. I'm going to go back. That was the day that sealed my fate in the US. I will go. Every step there was a tragedy. And then what they would do is they will take these old people and they'll just take them on this wheelchair and park the wheelchair by the side of the road, and the whole day they're sitting, they're watching these cars go by, people go by. There's nobody there to talk to them. And if you were to go there, they will literally hold your hand and say, please talk to us, please, please. Can you speak to us, talk to us? Can you please stay here for a little while? They will just clutch on to strangers just because they found somebody to talk to them. Compare that to Pakistan. In most of the places, you have the grandparents and the kids are running around and they're playing with them. There's so much respect that they have, people running after most of the places. America is, and Canada, is hell for elderly. And I'm planning to write an article. Which country do you want to grow up in? So why do you want to grow up in a country where you don't want to grow old? Now what will happen in classical system A if you were to follow it? In system A, the framework does not start with a vision, right? The framework starts with roles. You have to have a selection of roles. And under these roles, suppose you have a vision to build a hospital. So these, let me say it again. So these roles will give you mandated roles, right? Now suppose under one of these roles, citizen, you decide to build a hospital. So in this framework, what if the father becomes ill? There is no conflict, because whatever the hospital may be, you have to meet your MPLs in the role of your being a son. You have to meet those MPLs. If that entails that a hospital slows down, this system says, let it slow down. I took permission from Dr. Zafrullah, who is one of our most senior nuclear scientists today. Because when we were doing this training for Khan Research Labs, he abruptly said, Suleman, if you have sons like these, you would not need so many hospitals. Then Dr. Zafar Zaidi, who is the MD of Indus Hospital, was in our training, and I asked him, Dr. Saab, he is not a medical doctor, right? You are. Do you think Dr. Zafrullah is right? He said, absolutely right. Because most of the elderly, they end up in the hospital because they have not been taken well cared of at home. If they had been taken care of at home, they would not have made it to the hospital. There is no conflict here in the system. No burden. We will welcome our old age of our parents. We will welcome it. We look at it as an opportunity to pay back the great favors that they have on us. This is the time. That in system A, people wait for their lives for this opportunity. Because if we don't fight this wave, there could be a possibility that all of us could be in old age homes one day. And all that MBAs and the stellar degrees and these multinational jobs, they all go waste. So one guy came to my training and mashallah, and I found out that his mother is saying that, take me for Hajj. I said, why don't you want to take her for Hajj? He said it's very expensive, and she has already done Hajj once. I said, so what? She's saying take her for Hajj. He said, I don't have that much money now. I said, if your money is not serving your parents, it's useless. Burn it. If your wealth is not benefiting your parents, then what's the use of this wealth? So I gave him a full 600 milligram. I said, he said he's going. I said, so what? Spend it. You think you will become poor if you spend on your parents? System A says that if you do Sila Rahmi, which means if you spend on people who deserve to be spent upon, Allah will increase your wealth. And Sila Rahmi means people who are related to you. And who would be better than your parents to spend upon? I said, that is business advice I am giving you. He said, okay. And lo and behold, he went, took a good package, took the mother for Hajj. So what happened? Did his business go down? Nothing. He's okay. But what happened to the mother? Can you imagine how much prayer she is giving to this guy? How much? She must be thinking, okay, Alhamdulillah, all of those pains that I went through when this child was young, there's some sort of a return. Which means that in system A, the roles come first, right? So now we have different roles. I'm role of a father, R2, son, husband, brother, Muslim, self. So the rule is that every role should have a vision. Every role should have a vision. Because without a vision, we are at a severe risk. So every role must have a vision. So I had a French lady in my training, and she said, why do I need to have a vision in every role of my life? Why can't I have a vision in a few of my roles and just not have a vision in other roles? And I said to her, so are you suggesting that in some roles you should have no risk, while in other roles you should entail a huge risk? Is that what you're saying? And the good thing about the West is that they have this good habit, they've developed this good habit of thinking. So if you don't respond immediately, nobody will call them dumb. So she just stood like that and kept thinking. And she said, yes, you're right. Makes sense. All right. Of course, you have to have vision in each one of your roles. Now, if I have a vision in these roles, should this vision be an intermediate vision or an ultimate vision? Why? Because when you have an intermediate vision, there's another issue. You're anchoring onto something that can change. So every role must have an ultimate vision. That is why the ultimate vision of a role is called an ultimate subvision, USV. Ultimate subvision. So you need to have USV1, then USV2, then USV3, then USV4, where you have USVN, where N is the total number of what? Roles. That is the framework. Because the strength of a chain is the strength of its weakest link. I say the strength of a person is the strength of his weakest role. So I am paying attention to all of my roles and I am not paying attention to myself. May God forbid I have a heart attack. Do you think every other role is going to get affected? Or not? Yes. I am paying attention to all of my roles and I am not paying attention to the role of my breadwinner. And may God forbid I get into a financial crisis. Do you think every role is going to get affected? Yes. I am not paying attention to my role of a father and one of my son, may God forbid, gets into drugs or alcohol or something like that. Do you think that's going to affect every other role? Yes. Come on guys, we need to focus on all of our roles. If I, like you're saying, role of a Muslim, come on guys, if my relationship with Allah is suffering, don't you think that's going to affect every one of my roles? Of course. You know what I thought? I said, I'm going to start this life coach advice. Did you take a look at that on my Facebook? Are you connected with me on Facebook? Are you on Facebook? You don't want to connect with me?
No.
You're afraid?
I don't use it very often.
So why not? Because your teacher is using it. So I've started a life coach advice. I started from advice number 1, 2, so I'm at like 6, 7 now. 4, huh? I put one in this morning. So the first advice was what? Make peace with your Creator. Advice number 1. Life advice. Make peace with your Creator. And one advice is going to come, make peace with yourself also. So I was counseling this lady, and she said, I have a problem with everyone, and and people don't like me, people hate me. So I kept analyzing her. I did a psychoanalysis, and I said to her, you know what your issue is? I said, you are at war with yourself. And anybody who comes close to you becomes a casualty. You are at war with yourself, and anyone who comes close to you becomes a casualty. We have to make peace with ourselves. And what is the indication that we are not at peace? When some of our roles are conflicting with the other roles. So at one point I want to say that I want to make peace with the Creator, and on the other side I want to work in a bank and live off this interest, which is not permitted in Islam. So these two roles are conflicting. We are not at peace with ourselves. But deep inside, there is this, cognitive dissonance. Because on a subconscious level, there's a conflict. You can't live with these conflicts. So at one point I want to be a good person, at the other point I'm bribes. How is that going to work? We have to be true to ourselves. So when I decided to go to Bosnia, I went to my professor and I said, I want to go. Poor guy, his name is Professor Dylan. He said, what? Bosnia? Why? I said, because I want to do relief work there. He said, well, why would you like to go? He said, Suleman, there's war there, you might die. You have such a great career. You're in the middle. I said, listen, professor, my people are being killed and raped. And I can't sit here and I can't fight my conscience anymore. And he immediately said, hey, hold. What do you mean, your people? Suleman, they're not your people. You are from Pakistan. They are from Bosnia. They're not your people, Suleman. I said, no. They're Muslims, professor. They're my people. I can't fight my conscience anymore. He said, think about it. Are you sure? I said, okay, take 3 days. Go, think about it. So I went back after 3 days. Did you think about it, Suleman? I said, yes. So what happened? I said, I can't fight my conscience. I have to go. And I said, the only problem that I have is, you're in the middle of this research, and I'm feeling bad that I have to leave this research. I don't know how is this thing going to work? And listen to what he said. He said, listen, if you believe that you have to go, then you should go. I said, what about the research, professor? And he said, I'll take care of it. And he said, I hate to see you go for 3 reasons. 1, I like you. 2, you're doing a good job. And 3, I have no replacement. If you want to go, go. And I said, here's a check. Because they would pay in advance. So I said, I got this salary in advance, and I'm going. So that's not right? So I gave that check to him. You know what he did? He took the check, tore it up. I said, I'm not going to keep this money. I've not earned it. Because this whole money comes to the professor, right? So he said, I'm not going to keep it either. I said, Professor, I don't want to keep this money. He said, okay, do this. Give this money to the Bosnians as a donation from me. $850 some, huh? That's a lot of money. And I left. My friend Abbas Ali, you have read about him, huh? So he goes to his, so I had already graduated and I was I was a graduate student, right? So I'm completing my master's. Now this guy had not even graduated. So he had 3 months before his graduation, mechanical engineering. So he went to his professor. He said, no, go to the dean. He goes to the dean of the school. And I still remember his name. His name was Professor Ullman. So he went to Professor Ullman. So Ullman was sitting on the table. So Abbas is standing. Huh? So he's talking to him standing and Ullman is sitting. So he said the same thing. I have to go to Bosnia because I can't fight my conscience anymore and I want to go there and help. And Ullman said, well, that's fine if you want to go. That's not an issue. Why don't you just graduate and then go? It's just 3 months. And Abbas said, Professor Ullman, my degree can wait for 3 months. Bosnia cannot wait. So he stood up like this. Huh? And Abbas told me, he's standing like this. And tap. His tears started to fall. He said, I'm going to write to the school, to the dean of whole engineering, that you should be proud to have a student in this university like you. So Abbas did not have any conflict. We have to make peace with ourselves. So now how does this framework unfold? So let's come to page number. And that one page basically is a summary. 66, that page is a summary, page 66, of the whole course. How does this work? We start off with a sound ideology. And I've given you the process by which you're going to actually determine what your ultimate purpose is. And then from the ultimate purpose, you will drive the POVs. And then you have the final selection of roles. So there's a process that we have shared with you. And that will give you the different USVs. So that'll give you the roles. And every role will have a USV. It will have a POV behind it. And this POV is going to be extracted from the ultimate purpose. And then you'll break it down. 50 years, 25 years, 5 years, current year. Some roles would not be that complex and they can be broken down into 25 years and 5 years. Some roles will be very, very simple and you don't even have to go through those steps. You go directly to the current year and you break them down. So what are you doing? You are actually constructing a beautiful map of your life. Just like we should construct a beautiful map of a building before the building is constructed, you're building a map of your life. Just like it is plain unwise to start building a house without a vision or a plan. It is unwise to start your life without a vision or a plan. And as you go down, you have to take care of two things. First, excellence. Itqan, ihsan. If you can impact 2,000 lives. Why are you impacting 10? Why are we short living our life? So yesterday, the national sales manager of a huge company, I don't want to name him, I met him, I said, listen, I've been after you for years. Yeah? I want you to come with me and meet the general. Okay. He doesn't know what's going to happen. So as we were driving, I said, why I'm taking you to this person? Because I'm going to ask that general to ask you to quit that job and join me. He's making like 700,000 rupees. National sales manager for the huge group. That's a dream of people of LUMS, of IBA, of Karachi University, and there's a place called KSBL. The dream that people will wish, he has it. All the perks and the travel and everything. And you know what he said to me? You don't even have to have him say it to me. I'll join you. I don't have the money to pay you. He said, I don't need your money. I'll find ways to make my own money. Just give me a chance to work for you. No, I didn't have the time to make a U-turn, so I still went. Now we're having this dinner, and I said to the general, I said, General Saab, tell him this. He said, why do you want to go after him? Let him work, let him work, let him do what he's doing. Suleman, you shouldn't do this. I said, oh my God, this is going the opposite way. And he said to the General Saab, he said, listen, I don't want to work. He said, they have bought my mind. From morning till night, I'm just doing this. He said, I'm sitting here, this is like 9 p.m., I've got like 80 missed calls. I'm required to be responding to these calls. He said, I'm miserable. I don't like this life. He said, I've told my company to move me to HR or something, and they won't do that. He said, do you know what's happening, General Saab? Now they have a policy, move up or move out. Then 3 years, either you develop and go up, get promoted, or you're kicked out. He said, there is so much competition. He said, General Saab, it's a true rat race that's happening. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So Alhamdulillah, congratulations. Timelenders will have a very highly qualified IBA graduate guy looking after our sales. System B invested so much on this guy, and I will have the fruit. 15 years of experience. How's that, Priya? Isn't that nice? The dream of an HR manager. We have like around 15 people who work at Timelenders. But you know who looks after our finance? The guy who comes here, Abdul Ahad, he's a chartered accountant, qualified from Ferguson. He looks after our accounts. Me, miskin fakir, poor guy, driving a 15-year-old car. I have a chartered accountant from Ferguson looking after my accounts. And when he came to us and he said, I want to work for you, we told him we have no job. We don't have any place. He said, this Tahir is your assistant, right, Suleman? I said, yeah. I'll become Yameen Saab's assistant. And what was the job of Yameen Saab's assistant? To drive the kids to the school, to change the flat tires of his car, to ensure that the fridge and the AC are in working condition, to bring a plumber if the lines are not working. That is what Abdullah said I will do. Because I'm fed up from the corporate world. And he did that for like almost like 3, 4, 5 months. And he was happy. A guy who is worth like 200,000 rupees, you know how much he was taking? 25,000. And finally our work grew and stuff like that. And okay. Now he's head of finance, CFO. Alhamdulillah, we increase his salary, everything is now. The point is, people have learned things the hard way. It's your choice. So if you can make a difference for 2,000 people, why are you sitting at 20? Why? So we have to have excellence. But at the same time, excellence is like an accelerator. But what do we need? To counter that is the brake. And what's the brake? Balance. The MPLs are the brake. Yes, you will rush, we will accelerate, but not at the cost of the MPLs. So the MPLs act as the brake, and the excellence acts as the accelerator. Yes, I'm going to make difference in people's lives as long as my MPLs are not being violated. So now you have a balanced life. So if I teach swimming, who gets the most benefit, my students or me? Me, because I have to work out to make it happen. So today when I made them do these push-ups, so I had to inspire them, so who did the push-ups first? Me, miskin, poor guy. I had to do the push-ups. I did it, and then I said, now start. So who's benefiting? I am. So when you share happiness, who gets happiness first? You do. And then based on these current year's intermediate visions, which are very concrete, then you make a plan of your life. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that that day comes very quickly when, or very soon, when you're running your life according to a vision, and then you will truly enjoy your life. Because with every single step here that you will be taking, you will be moving towards a great vision, to a great purpose, to a life which is really worth living. Otherwise, time will go. Time will pass. And how does that pan out for an institution or corporation? Like that. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but very quickly, if you want to develop a vision for a company, that's how it works. It starts off with the sound ideology, ultimate purpose, why does that company exist? Then we have 3 verticals, right? First, what sort of an impact do you want to create through that company? Visualize that. Then second, what sort of an institution is going to facilitate that impact? Third vertical, what sort of people do you need to run that institution to create that impact? And then you break them down. And that is how we help companies plan. We go into companies, we help them develop a vision, impact, institution, and then influences. So one of our clients, Diamond Paints, in 1.5 years, their sales went up by 35%. They got focused. The systems started to come into place. It's not only that you will do service to the world, you will make money also. If you focus on the ball, the score will take care of itself. And what is the biggest advantage of having powerful vision? Powerful people will come and work for you. If Salman has a very powerful vision, Salman, some of the most valuable women would want to marry you.
I think one would suffice.
Yeah, of course, you'll choose only one. But it's nice to have many wanting to marry you and choose one. Rather having nobody wanting to marry you and you are trying to choose everybody.
I'll get married anyways.
Yeah, but who are you going to get married to? Is the question, right? A woman who is focused on shopping, expensive car, having fun, vacation, or somebody who is, vision oriented, service. Yeah? You understand, Suleman, right? Everything's clear. So technically that brings us to the end of this chapter, or this course actually. But one interesting thing, how do you write a USP? There's a checklist. What is a USP? An ultimate submission. So let's look at that. Page number 64. There's a checklist for writing USPs. Number one, it must have a high lucidity. We discussed that when we were discussing ultimate visions and intermediate visions, right? It should be very clear. So yesterday a person came to me and he's trying to explain his vision to me. Would you believe in 45 minutes I actually did not understand? I'm not able to understand. What is your vision? He said, I said, write it down in 3 lines. He wrote it down, he's still confused. I said, I'm not able to understand. Because he is confused, he is not clear as to what he wants to do with his life. So the vision has to be very, very clearly articulated. That's what they say, if you cannot explain your vision to your grandmother, it means you yourself are not clear. Hamza, if you cannot explain your vision to your old grandma, you're not clear. You have not thought it through. High lucidity. Second is low concreteness. On the ultimate vision level, the concreteness should be low. Number 3, the 2 sides of the coin. What does that mean? It means that if I want to see where I want my son to be, I must also visualize where I should be as a father. If I want to see where I want my parents to be, I should visualize what sort of son I should be. The 2 sides of the coin. One of the reasons I want to be in good health, one of the reasons I swim regularly, play sports, go to the gym, is because, may God forbid, if my parents become old and they want to go to the bathroom or they want to climb the steps, I should be strong enough to be able to pick them up and serve them. I do not want to call an attendant. And I'll only be able to do that if I am physically strong. So I have a very powerful, alhamdulillah, POV behind having good health. It's not only about, Salman, looks, Farooq. Good health means good looks, right, Maha? Or no? But it's not about that. It's not about looks, it's about the ability to serve my parents. Also, I want to pray till I die standing up. I want to be able to go to Hajj. I want to be able to go for Umrah. And if I don't have health, how would I be able to work on my vision? So I'm taking tomorrow morning 20 families to Balochistan. So if I'm not healthy, how am I going to be able to do that? So at least you guys should come to see us off. Salman, you will not come to see us off in the morning? At least say goodbye to us at Fajr time at Al-Hamra Masjid. That's right in front of Bangalore town on Tipu Sultan Road. There's you can just Google it, Al-Hamra Masjid. And Fajr, all of these people are getting together, the naval escorts are coming together, the naval vehicles will be there, and the whole entourage is going to go. Then why are you so worried about Umar?
He's too worried about us.
He's worried about you. Why don't we all worry about ourselves? You know.
Exactly.
So who lives close to that place? Is there anybody here who lives close to that place? People down road? No. Who lives very far from that place? Okay, where do you live? Yeah. There's your test of commitment. You should just drive up there, see this group off. Just a, recommendation. One of my students is driving all the way from Gulshan MR to see us off. Izzatullah. He said, I cannot go with you to Balochistan, but I'm going to come and see you all. He's coming. Okay, anyway. The fourth is comprehensiveness. What does that mean? It means that if you're making a vision for somebody, make sure that you at least cover his physical aspect. So if you're going to have a company, think about the health of your employees, and then think about the spirituality of those employees. If he's a Christian, allow him to, become a spiritual. If he's a Muslim, allow him to become a spiritual. If he's a Hindu, allow him to become a spiritual. Because all religions tell you, don't steal, don't cheat. So I talk to these companies when I go in as a consultant. I say, okay, you have this guy, he's a graduate from LUMS, he's excellent and he's competent, but he has envy and pride in him. What do you think is going to happen? Oh, he's going to cause a lot of problems. So I said, when you yourself say that such things will cause problems, so why don't you have a program to rectify that? Companies are being pulled down because of this leg pulling that's going on. Why? Because System B has this great allergy to religion. This is a problem. Oh, no. Religion is a personal affair. We don't want to talk about it. Okay, then suffer. I talk about religion all the time, and mashallah, my team is phenomenal. They're conditioned. You see what I'm saying? Let's be practical and pragmatic, and not be just consumed by this, these fads and crazy fashions. It's become fashionable to say, oh, no, I'm not religious. As if being religious means you're like backward or something. Thanks to Hollywood and all of that. When we do not have internal worth, when I do not have internal worth, then that is how I take my worth. From expensive vehicle, from the latest fashion, from being cool and in the whole loop. And in all of that game that we play, we are destroying ourselves. How many kids smoke just because their friends smoke? You understand? How many of us destroy ourselves because of that? Peer pressure. Oh, you don't have a girlfriend? Oh. Yeah, I don't have a girlfriend. I will have a wife. Oh, come on, that's not your age to get married. No, that's my age to get married. Hamza, how old are you? You're already late. 23? Can't believe this, yeah. Get married, Hamza. Get over with it, yeah.
And he's the youngest in the class.
He's the youngest in the class? This guy? If you're really serious, talk to me within like few weeks. I'll take care of everything. I'll even come and talk to your parents and convince them they don't do this, tyranny on your son. This guy is suffering. Please do something about him.
We are going to make a cartel against me. I actually want to go the other way for a while. So
Really?
yes.
Who? Yeah, give me a call. Give me a call, guys. I can help you. Get out of this, pathetic state. Okay. Number 3, intellectual. We must also think about the intellectual development of people. If he's a driver, why is he a driver all his life? If he's an office boy, office assistant, why is he an office assistant all his life? Come on, give him an opportunity to develop. Let him grow. So we had Mohan Das, Dave Mohan Das. So this Dave used to sweep our office. And I noticed that, this guy really works very hard. I said, Dave, come here. He said, I said, do you want to keep sweeping office the rest of your life? He said, no. I said, what do you want? He said, I would like to grow. I said, Dave, deal. If I give you a job, will you listen to me? I said, okay, Dave, you have a job. Quit this. Brought him in, educated him, alhamdulillah, invested in this guy. Today, Dave, the same guy, is a businessman. In the day, he works as a librarian in a school. In the evening, he runs his business, which is taking the janitorial contracts of buildings. He has a motorcycle now, he got married. If Dave walks into this room now, you will never believe that he was a sweeper in a building once. Okay, it took like how many years he was with us? 4 years? Yeah, it took 4 years, but come on. There you go. Yeah, good. Thank you, yeah. There you go, Dev. Mohan Dev. And he's got like 3-4 whole buildings that he's taken on contract. If Mohan Dev can grow, come on, guys. Everybody can grow. Our driver, Gul Nazif, kept growing. Today, mashallah, he's a businessman. He built his own house, and he's trading in cloth. He has a cloth business. Dikhai yaar. Gul Nazif's shop. Kurtuba cloth traders. He has his own business cards. He is educated. He can read English and Urdu. And he was completely illiterate when he came. He can read English and he can read Urdu, maths. If you see Gul Nazif now, you won't believe. I don't have my own house, guys. He has his own. And for some time, we were business partners. And at one point, we decided, okay, now he's all set. Okay, Gul Nazif, you're on your own. You know what? We made a mistake. We should have invited Gul Nazif and Mohan Dev to come and speak to you guys. And now we have this guy. His name is Ramachand Badrani. He's on wheelchair. Now he's getting developed. And I will make him, inshallah, into a phenomenal programmed. Just wait. Give me a little bit more time, and he'll be taking care of my web and everything. Ramachandra. And you will not believe the level of poverty is coming from. One small room, him, his brother, the brother's wife, mother and father in one room, and two sisters. One room. One room. There's no water. There's no running water. They live in one room. Okay, no, hold on. Yeah, the girls got married, so they're gone. In one room. And I went to his brother's marriage in Jogi Mode. Have you heard of Jogi Mode? When you go towards Landi. Unbelievable poverty, and when I walked into that community, I thought, because I visited India, I thought I'm in India. It's absolutely like in it's like you're in India. Same clothes, same dresses, same culture, every. I said, my God, in Karachi, a small India. I felt I am in one of these movie stages. And my wife went with me, and they're looking at us as if we are the recently brought in, Bengal tigers or something, some new animal or something. Because they have, nobody like us has stepped into that place. Phenomenal, And all that's good food, this like traditional Indian food and stuff like this. If this was a whole semester, I would have just taken you guys in a van, taken you to Jogi Mode. You see what's happening. And poverty to that level that ladies were actually sleeping on the side of the road. You'll put this manji on the side of the road and women are just sleeping there. Because they don't have space in the house. It's small. This is happening in this city. And we are wasting food. We are renting cars for just an evening for 100,000 rupees. This is criminal. Criminal. And I asked this guy, Ramachandra, I said, how did you go to school? He said, no, never went to school. But now, mashallah, one of my students from Lums, I gave him this job. You have to come and teach him. This is your job. He comes every day or every second day. Saad. I don't know, he's coming every second day and he's teaching him. And one day I found him, for hours he's practicing writing, saying, I cannot do this, but Ramachandra, I have given him this vision. Ramachandra. He keeps asking me, do you think I'll be able to make it? I say, yeah, of course. You'll have your own car, you'll have your own house. He said, I want to take care of my parents, they're getting old. I said, oh, you will take care of them. Just give me some time. So where is that intellectual development? So we need to look at the physical development, the spiritual development, intellectual development, and lastly, is there 3, huh? Yeah, 3. I think I need to make some correction. Yeah. So 3 dimensions have to be covered. Yeah. So there's a small exercise. The last exercise I'd like you to do. The last exercise, guys, and then it's over. Page number 62. Come on, it's a group exercise. So 2 people. So Priya and Hamza, SM Hamza and Salman, and Umar. 3 of you can do together. 2 of you, 2 of you, 3 of you. Quickly, there are some USVs written. Match them to the corresponding role. 3 minutes, 4 minutes. One more minute, guys and girls. Ho gaya? Just to give you a sample of what USVs will look like. Okay, here you go. Number 2, That corresponds to what? Son and daughter, right? Number 4. I'm sorry, number 1. Number 1 corresponds to son and daughter. Number 2 corresponds to business owner. Number 3, mashallah. Number 4, father. Number 5, number 6, number 7. Okay. There you go, guys. The course has ended. My parting advice is one sentence. One sentence. In LUMS, they have this tradition that a professor will give a parting advice that will last for a whole class. I mean, the whole class will be parting advice. But here, one sentence. Say it. What is this? All of you. Yeah. Please. Time is up. Okay, I'll talk to Dr. Zishan and we'll see what you'll have for your finals, if there is a final. You might have a project instead of a final. Maybe we'll ask you to write one of the vision in one of your roles of life. So let's see what Dr. Zishan says. But I will try very hard to convince him that there should be. You should enjoy your life. Have fun. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you.